Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris. This is Horse Racing Manager. And I want to look over some of the new features in Early Access 0.6.9.1, a little update, including the courts. But I've been sitting here trying to get a path for a certain court, and I'll explain this over. I've done 30,000 combinations, and it hasn't worked. You've got to try in increments of one. I don't think that's great. So this is the 31st try. Each time just does another 1,000. It's an ultra rare pattern. I've had to simulate up to 100,000 times to even find the pattern. So I would have to do basically 3 to 4 times the amount I've already done, which has been like 20 minutes. If it just allowed me to set the combinations for this breeding path, then yeah, I think that would be a lot easier to navigate, if I'm honest, because that would have taken me maybe 5 minutes. And I get they don't in the game locking up for 5 minutes just to do a little breeding path. But if I'm asking it to do that, I don't think that's a bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea. I can search up here. It doesn't take that long to get to it. So I like the fact that we do have breeding paths. It is something I asked for in my live stream yesterday. For those that don't know, I was live for about 9 hours, 9.5 hours yesterday on YouTube. The VOD is available on demand. And we just tested out the early access patch 0.6.9, and we had a lot of good times and talked to a bunch of you and had some fun and showcased a lot of what the game has to offer and some of the new patch updates and whatnot. There was a little bug in the race screen, which we will go over as well. But yeah, so I've gone over basically a third of the way, and I can't find this, which with 100,000 samples does have a very, very small amount of chances to spawn. But okay, that's fine. But this is one of the new features now. Under breeding, you get the cohort index. You can select the sample size. It defaults to about 1,000, and it'll show you if the game were to generate 1,000 horses, what percentage um, of each cohort would be shown. How many horses would be this or that? And you can see we got basically nothing for a lot of this, because none of these actually exist. But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a black horse, there you go. It just it searched 50, found 15 paths from 1,000 combinations. So it's black with a bay, with chestnut, um, with a black Appaloosa, 2 bays can make a black, and all these are in probability order as well. The most unlikely way of doing it is a 4% chance that you breed a bay with either a bay roam frame or a grey, and that would get you a black horse. We can go down to something a little more interesting, like the Red Dun, a skin that I found fascinating recently. I say I've got a bunch of different ways to do that. The best way to get a Red Dun is to breed a Red Dun with chestnut flaxen or a bay, a dominant white, a black, a bay frame, a bay, then and back. But also, here we go. So 6% chance if you don't have any, 6% chance with a black frame and a grey, that can get you that horse. A bay done Tobiano with a bay, Baron frame with a bay, etc. So you can see your pathway if you're looking for a certain horse. But yeah, you've got to realize that when you get right down to the bottom end, and those horses which are ultra rare, you might not be able to actually find them. They might not actually be able to be generated. So you can see. Nope. No. Not Palomino. Yeah, some of these are really, really kind of cool. But they also don't, like I say, when you get right down to here and you've got these almost impossible to find ones. I'd love to have a gold pearl white, but I can't generate a scenario to find a path right now. So I really like the breeding path. This was hidden underneath the dev options here under debug. Quartz in cyber, you could click this and it would take you to this screen. Now it's just under breeding and quartz, and like I say, it'll default to 1,000, and if it generated 1,000 horses, this is what it would look like. I like to put it up a bit higher and then just let it generate, and it will take its time. Like I say, if the breeding paths were a little quicker to go through and didn't force you to do 1,000, then 2,000, then 3,000, I think it would be much quicker to go through. So yeah, I can see all the Sabinos, and this is turned out to be one of my favorite patterns. We found this out yesterday, but some of these Sabinos are absolutely fantastic. So don't know why it doesn't do that right now. But there's some really interesting kind of patterns like this, chestnut flaxen. I don't mind that. That's kind of cool, you know? It's actually kind of cool. And then Tobianos, there's some cool stuff in there. You got the black splash, you got the black Tobiano, there's white socks on. You got the smoky blacks. I kind of like them as well. Not sure how we kind of get to some of those. I don't fully know, but yeah, so you can generate your codes. That's one of the updates we've got going on. Another thing is in the training information under stable, these buttons have kind of been pushed into the background and made it look a little cleaner, a little bit more easier to read. So they still work the copy and paste, the drop down menus, but they're all flattened against the background. So really nice little quality of life update there. And then actually in the races, we did have issues. Like I say, that was the big thing for me yesterday, was that in the races, some of the graphics were fixed. Sorry, not fixed. Some of them were broken. They were basically, some of the background graphics were in the foreground and the overlay disappeared, and it didn't really help you because you didn't know where you were in the field. For a lot of those races, like, we didn't see this, we didn't see this, we didn't see that. Like, everything was disappeared. So it's impossible to tell. I had to sit here with this on and kind of see how we would do. But now at least I can tell how far ahead we are. We're good. I can tell our distance is good. I don't need to slow down. I can just go. I can go on fast speed instead of just normal. And so all those fixes came in, and I'm very happy with that because it was a struggle. It was a real struggle. And that's something I really wanted to do, was to be able to get the horses running, and actually kind of, I was looking forward to it. I was enjoying that, actually running the horses and trying to get them different grades and you know, really focus in on that. And instead we had to simulate a lot of races. We still did really well, and I'm really kind of happy with where we're at in terms of our horses right now. But yeah, overall, I think it was the main thing that was stopping me from doing exactly what I wanted to do, and it was a bug that just wasn't replicating on other people's games very often. One or two seemed to have got it, but the vast majority weren't seeing those issues with the races that we had on stream. Luckily, we had the dev there to kind of troubleshoot briefly, and I sent the logs in, and that's one of the changes that got put into this 0.6.9.1. So a quick look at these changes. Like I say, the breeding tab, we've added the code index now, and that looks really, really good. The paths is something I did ask for on stream about how to get to each breeding, and it is in there, and I appreciate that. I don't think it's the easiest or quickest thing to use, especially for ultra rare skins. I don't know if there's a better way of doing it or an easier way. And again, this is a fix that doesn't need to be now. This could be down the road for sure. I had a person win an award at the end of season awards. I wanted to give them a bonus or a new contract. There was no way of doing that. No, there is. So I didn't look at that, but I'll go in and look at that in a second and see how to do that. But yeah, just a nice little touch, and I think, again, it helps with the role-playing and the emergent storytelling. And that is something we discussed on stream and with the dev and with the other people that were there. Shout out to all you that stopped by. But it was kind of interesting because we were talking about games with emergent storytelling and how we can increase that, and stuff like the Nigerian prince emails, the cat showing up. There's little bits and pieces throughout this which are really cool, and other games have done really well in the past too. And speaking of John, he was speaking about how he really wanted more of that in the game, but it's kind of like how much is too much, and a balance between reality and fun gameplay loops, and there's all sorts that go into that decision. But anything that adds customization, modability, which is an extension of that for me, and storytelling ability without taking away from how solid mechanically the game is, then I'm all for it. Like, those are the kind of things I want in a game. And I think we got a really good base so far to work off. And it's only just gone into early access. So, that could be something that definitely increases, but that's just really nice. And then the horse profile, we can increase our knowledge and bonding by interacting in a small way with the horses. That's kind of cool. So I'll have a look at those two in a little bit. We'll see that, but we changed the buttons to flat. That was quite cool. And they fixed the hidden UI in the race screen because that was something that was an issue. If you didn't have a save, there was invalid database and file handling. The earning percentiles query was a bit safer. Now we did some changes to that, and the layers width in the race screen, that would fix some issues there as well. But I'm glad we could fix the UI for the race, because that makes it a lot easier for me to play and whoever else was having that issue to play. And a couple of nice little things, including the court index, which we played about with on stream. The staff bonuses I brought up on stream. And then interacting with the horse, which I didn't. That wasn't my call. That wasn't my kind of suggestion at all. So, yeah, I think it's really kind of cool. It's really kind of cool. Just knowing that they are paying attention to the community, and again, they're very quick to do the updates and to make the game as good as possible. We did talk about the community and what a vital role it can and should play in the development of your game, and how using them not only as a knowledge base, but as a resource to do some of that lifting for you. And, the modability customization options you give to them and allow them to really kind of support your efforts. It just ends up in a much better partnership in building a much better game. So really, really pleased to see that. Again, we're just flying through updates. We're 2 weeks in to November, and we're on 9 updates, a couple of small ones here and there, but 6.4 all the way up to 6.9 in 10 days. Like, active, meaningful, consistent updates, listening to the fans, listening to people. Just, I can't fault them. I cannot fault them. I think absolutely fantastic. And if you haven't already joined the Discord, go join the Discord. I think it's between 700 and 800 people on that Discord right now. It's very active. You can talk about real life. You can talk about horse racing. You can talk about the game. You can talk about the real life schedule mod. You can talk about putting your own skins in the game in terms of your horse courts and patterns, and get some feedback on there and share your designs. People on there from the community, not from Sheep Meadow Road games, but from the community, are designing their own like bits and bridles and halters and nosebands and stuff like that. There's a real sort of discussion over what will come in the future, and starting work to try and get some images ready to test for when those features are even implemented, as well as designing your own silks and choosing your own silks, which will be coming at some point. There's also the chance to design a logo for your stable within the game, or maybe outside the game and upload one. I'm not really sure about what options, but they're discussions of things that could be happening in some point in the future. But the community discussions are already happening on the Discord right here. You just click this and you can go straight to the Discord. If you haven't already, wishlist it on Steam. That helps a lot as well. Just like and subscribe on YouTube for the algorithm, a wishlist on Steam helps the Steam algorithm as well. So I would definitely go ahead and support in that way. We also talked a little bit about a new race engine being done. Not just the fixes, but a little more. And there we go. You can see a new button already. Reward with an apple. Well, a few months ago, Zeppelin Bijou, well, last year, she won an award. So you can give a little apple. That's not bad. That's okay. So yeah, a little bonding event. Nice. Little bonding event. I like that. It's not much. It's just a little here and there. I can whistle softly at Snapple Orion, my career-earning king. Like, awesome. There you go. Little bit extra there for him. Love that. It's such a small thing, but again, it's all about that relationship with the horses and that storytelling and little bits you can do. If we look at our staff, who won? It was Reed, wasn't it? Reed won. Yeah, Trainer of the Year last year. Reed won. I was like, wow. I wish I could go and reward him. I'm going to be saying he doesn't need to be rewarded. He's earned an absolute ton. He doesn't like himself very much, but he does like me. So there is that. But yeah, Reed, great head trainer. Really good at working with youngsters. Stamina and strength training. He's pretty dang good. There you go. We don't just have a fire button anymore. We've got a bonus and a raise. I'm going to give him a little raise. He's going to go up from 300 to 345k. I'm also going to give him, I guess this is half of his wage as a bonus. I'm going to do that. He deserves it. He's been absolutely fantastic and, really set up quite well. And I am a manager, once again. We did break this by playing with the debug stuff, but yeah, I basically went in with an SQL editor and edited a field. And it's not correct. I don't know exactly how to do it properly because we're still not showing up here. But at least I've taken away the fact that I'm at another stable when we're not actually at another stable. But I did go and mess about with that and fix that, which is cool. Took a few goes, did break a few things, but I mean that's kind of what you've got to do sometimes, I guess. So yeah, we can't give ourselves anything, but sure, absolutely fine. I wonder if it's just because that's a lowercase m. Is that the issue? Maybe that's the issue. I don't know. Nora is a permanent. Yeah, see, it's capital M. That might be it. That might actually be it. So maybe I can go in and mess with the text editor again and try and get that. I don't really have the time to want to do that right now, but maybe that capital M just needs to be done. But yeah, no, it's cool. The fact now we're getting these little events and being able to interact with the horses, being able to reward the staff. You know, I love that. It's just the emergent gameplay that really, really helps out. And it allows you to tell better stories. And for people like me, I think we get a lot more enjoyment out of it. So, yeah, again, I'm really happy that the race issue got fixed, but the little bits that are being added in constantly, they just add a little more depth and a little more interest. Say that replayability with these random stuff, much better. The breeding has also been randomized a little bit, where I think there's like a hidden breeding score or something, where each horse, may or may not breed better than others. So you could have an absolutely terrible horse which just breeds really well, and you could have absolutely great horses which don't breed well. I'm not naming any names for the second category at all. I'm not naming any names, but for example, let's just say you had like a champion 3-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old horse that had like 20 odd million in career earnings, grade 1 winner, big horse, monster, very, very good potential, just won a bunch. Even if they didn't like max out, I'll say he for argument's sake, and then couldn't breed very well at all. And in fact, bred poorly a lot more than they bred well. So they always kind of bred under their own status, even with mares that would be like 4-star. So in theory, horses like that exist, and it's a little frustrating, I would imagine, if you were to have one. Not naming any names. Definitely not frustrating at all. But I like the change. It's so realistic, and it's so unpredictable that you can't really count on anything. You've now got to experiment more. You can't just get the best staff, buy the best horses, breed them together, and be guaranteed good horses. Like, that's a very unrealistic way of playing. And yeah, I do feel that's a valid. I was gonna say a valuable way to play for some people. That's something they're gonna want to do. There are ways of mitigating some of those risks, but yeah, I'm sure we'll be able to, like, at some point maybe turn off the scouting or just have perfect scouting, for example, or a way to reveal breeding traits early. Maybe an extra building that we could check the fertility of a horse and get a range of fertility of a horse. So there's, maybe ways around that to kind of gamify bringing that back a little bit. Or you could leave it totally random. And again, it's all about playing your way. And I think they're doing a very good job of giving you so many tools and assets and options to play in different ways. I will say that right now, we do look really pretty good. I say this is basically 9 hours of playing, probably about 8 of playing, and about an hour for breaks and for bug testing. But this is what we got to. And we got some absolutely amazing horses. Snapple at 8 wasn't a good sire, but was an amazing, amazing horse for us. Then at 6, we moved over with Persephone von Beethoven, who isn't as great a racer, but actually bred as good or better, despite not being as good a horse. And then 7, Cyclonic, is only 4, could end up being a good racer. Actually looks like, they're a lot closer to filling up potential than Van Beethoven or Snapple Orion were. And already we're breeding as good or better there. So yeah, there's definitely some testing to do, but I've got some good stallions 2 years apart, 8, 6, 4. I think that's quite good. We also got Band Rain, who could be a really good racer, and I think will be a really good racer. Not really sure kind of what they're going to do breeding. Little test so far doesn't seem amazing, but it's really kind of fun. And a bunch of great mares. We sold off all the 3-stars, so we've only got 3.5. And then our young horses here, you can see all of these are 3.5. And we have fully scouted them, so we know kind of where we're at. But yeah, it's kind of fun. The fact that we do have at least a red done. And I think if we were to go for that golden horse, can't remember the full name of it now, but the golden horse I was trying to look for. Let's generate a bunch of those and get the name, because that is something I'm probably going to have to maybe dedicate a live stream. If you want to see a live stream of me like breeding for coat colors, totally not what I thought I'd do, but just again, you find something in the game that appeals to you and you just go do it. I think that's, with any game, that would be something that you should really go for. Play your way, get your enjoyment. Okay, so gold isn't correct. What was it? Okay. It was the gold pearl something, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it was a gold pearl something. But I'm pretty sure as well, I think anyway, I'd be surprised if there wasn't red done in there somewhere, because the coloring's not far off. Is there maybe some dominant white in the bloodline? Probably, maybe. But yeah, we can work our way back and find the extras. I guess you can only go to 10,000. I try to go up more, but I guess you can only go, sorry, 100,000. Gold pearl. It was gold pearl something. I'm not really sure what. But that's how rare it is, even at 100,000. Even then, it's not really showing up. The Bay Dun Sabino's nice. Smoky Black Sabino, I kind of like. Yeah, Smoky Black Sabino. To be honest, not bad. Again, I mean, it's just really interesting to me, the different types, but yeah. So the gold pearl, whatever. I think this red dun would be maybe a good starting point. Maybe. And I haven't really paid attention to this color much. I like black horses, I like grey horses. Apparently, I might like red duns more. Uh, so there's that. I got dominant white. I've had a decent amount of those. I got my first Palomino. I got some chestnuts. I got a black Pinto, which could be my way into the smoky black, etc's. The Palominos and Sabinos and everything else. I don't know yet. I don't know, but it's gonna be kind of fun to find out. So if you want to see a little live stream of me doing that and exploring and breeding, just to try and get down to certain coat colors, then that would be kind of cool as well. So yeah, let me know what you think about that. But like I say, the fixes we wanted to see yesterday, they came in. The features that we mentioned for, just, oh, this would be cool, or, this could be improved potentially. They came in as well. Uh, yeah, I'm blown away by how receptive the dev team and how quick the dev team are to implement what the community wants. So, absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I'm just in love with some of these new colored coats. And I didn't think I would be. But boy, is it just fun. And to have it here now, yeah, it's just magical for me. It's just magical. And again, I didn't expect to like this game as much as I do. I didn't expect to like the graphics of this game as much as I do. I didn't expect coat colors to matter in the slightest to me, because in general they don't. But again, they've been presented in such a way that actually make it really interesting for me. And I don't know exactly why. And the fact that people are creating their own and they're getting put into the game over time is kind of fun. The Pintalusa as well. I mean, the black horse with the white hair is just, it's so fun. It's so nice. The black Tovero's not bad either. I do have a little bit of a problem with the horse with a different color face to their body. I mean, white face with a dark body, this kind of, I'm used to horses like this. Maybe shy horses, draft horses, that kind of thing. I expect to kind of look a little bit like this. But the ones that really stand out to me then are the slightly odd ones. The Grullo Tabio looks nice. Looks really nice. Smoky Black Sabino, I kind of like that. Smoky Black Splash, I kind of like. Smoky Cream, I mean, we're down to like the tiniest percentages now, and then we come into the Amber Pearls and the other horses, which technically are going to be super, super rare, even as big as a sample size as we can put in. The Gold Pearl. It's just really kind of nice, interesting skins, and you generate different times. It's going to show you slightly different, but they're, yeah, you've just got to know that when you're getting down to this level, it's going to be almost impossible to figure out how to get there, and then to breed it, it's going to be so long. Yeah, the Gold Pearl Sabino, I kind of like this gold pearl line, I've got to say, I really do like. I like those a lot. Like a lot. But yeah, some of these would be an absolute nightmare to go after. An absolute nightmare to breed. But let me know if you want us to try it, because we can indeed try it. The live stream, set our target, find something that's not super crazy. I say something in the 10,000 list, and something that has a decent chance. So like, I don't mind this little chestnut, flax, and Sabino either. That's interesting. So yeah, there's 1 out of 1,000. So it's a bay Sabino and a bay. Bays are easy. There's an 8% chance with a bay Sabino. So then you can look at the bay Sabino and like, okay, there's a 2% chance for that. Without a bay Sabino to start with, how do we get one? Chestnut Sabino and a bay frame, or a bay Pinto and a bay. You can look then, well, how do we get a bay Pinto? And we can kind of see 2 dominant whites gives me a 4% chance. So I could do that. 2 dominant whites. We've got a 4% chance of getting a bay Pinto. We breed that bay Pinto with another bay to get a Sabino. And so on. And you know, we can figure out that pathway. And then we can just chat and we can do a little breeding path to try and get ourselves a good, or get that core color, and then start trying to get the ability of those horses up. So yeah, let me know if that's something you're interested in, because I'm kind of interested in playing around with it. And I quite like recording videos while I'm playing around with stuff, or streaming, to be fair. So let me know. We'll look at that in the future one. But that is where we're going to leave things for today. Like I say, very, very cool stream yesterday. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't gone ahead already, you can go check it out. It is long. I know. I get it. But hopefully you catch the next one if you did miss it. And I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Stay safe. All the very best to each and every one of you. I love you. I appreciate y'all. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Helps the algorithm. Check the playlists. Check out as well the memberships on the channel. And I'll see you in the next one, where we have more fun and games, and maybe we dive into breeding for coat patterns. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you soon.